You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just
Ladies and gentlemen, it's so great to be here on a Thursday night under the lights at Homestead International Speedway. My name is Jonathan Leach with Sim Racing Media. Joining me in the booth this evening is Daniel Paulus, who's been with me for the last few weeks. Tonight, we are calling the cutoff race before the hunt for the championship here in the Racers Elite Nextgen series. We're just at the very tail end of qualifying. Once again, under the lights here for Racers Elite. I am absolutely ecstatic and cannot wait to see what this night is going to bring. Daniel, what are your expectations before we go over just how close these standings are?
Well, my expectations, John, here tonight from Homestead. It's the final race before we start the chase for these drivers here in this series. And I expect to see drivers be a little more aggressive and expect to see our normal faces inside the top five. You know, we see an Austin Smith, a Gordon Spain, Aaron Colahaas, Brandon Honeycomb I'm going to put in there as well into the mix. And one driver I want to point out here tonight is going to be the 6 car of Andrew Teft. He's been very strong all season long, but, you know, I do expect to see our regulars up front, but we might see another driver that's trying to point to their way into these playoffs. So we're just going to have to see how this goes.
And we're going to definitely see how this race goes. It should be a really good one. Let's talk about Homestead Motor Speedway. By the way, us Sim Racing Media guys go to Homestead once a year as a team. So if you're interested in doing some broadcasting, want to go to Homestead on our dime, all you got to do is pretty much pay for your travel. Join up with us. We've got plenty of racing to come, and we need teammates. So Homestead-Miami tonight, 75 degrees outside. Track temperatures also 75 degrees. Awfully humid, but it's Miami. Track length is 1.48 miles, only 4 feet above sea level, and it's sort of an oval here. It's kind of flat-ish, a little bit of banking in the corners. Multi-groove. You'll see people running a high lane and a low lane at this racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun. These drivers are pulling off the track right now. Let's take a moment to look at the standings. Putting those up on screen momentarily. Here you see it. Alex Teft currently leading the way at 262 points. Austin Smith trailing him at 250. He was out last week, but he's still second in standings. It gets a little bit close. Let's go down to the bubble drivers. You look at 9th through, let's call it 13th, where 13 points separate those drivers, really from 14th. So you have Diego Rodriguez, Jeremy Carter on the outside looking in, Brad Hayes, Gordon Spain, Honeycutt, and Ira Kohlhaas, all kind of right there on the bubble. We're going to watch this race with a lot of interest to see how those drivers do. We will refer back to them at certain moments during the race. The front row is made up of Brandon Puffenbarger getting the pole, with Austin Smith starting outside of row number 2. Can't say that I'm surprised. Or excuse me, outside row 1. Row 2 is Gordon Spain, Ira Kohlhaas. Daniel, it's time to go racing. It's your call.
Green flags in the air for the final race here before the playoffs. The 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger leading the pack here in the turn number 1, and he set sails in the turn number 2.
134 laps here tonight underneath the lights. The best way to do racing virtually, in my opinion, at one of my favorite racetracks being Homestead-Miami. You already see cars starting to fan out more towards the back right here. Boy, do these cars look great under the lights. Fans watching, drivers driving. What do you think? Under the lights at Homestead, not a better track in my opinion.
I love racing under the lights to see sparks flying, get to see those nice, wonderful paint schemes also glimmer off of these cars. But I want to talk to you really quick, John, is that I talked to Back Row Motorsports right before this race even started, and they were deciding whether or not they should use that inside line, right where that white line is on the inside, or run the Kyle Larson line all the way up against that outside wall. And when I asked that question, they said they were going to use that outside line, so expect them to be up there in the top groove in no time.
That's good information to know, and you're going to see that change with kind of along with the 25 there. Paul Shaw currently in 14th. He's down 2 positions from the start of the race, but you're seeing drivers run low and you're seeing drivers run high. Like I mentioned, a couple different grooves here. You see that 59 machine of Truth Hope, the Reese's orange machine, not going to be hard to see underneath the lights. Looks really, really good out there on track. But we're going to see multiple different grooves. You see almost 3 wide right here. That high side is going to be really good for your momentum off the corner, but if you enter bad and you have to get out of the throttle so you don't get into the wall, it's really going to hurt your run. But when you get it right, you're going to have some crazy entry speed coming into the next corner to set up the pass.
And usually where you make that error, John, is when you're battling side by side for a position. You're just not thinking about the corner. Sometimes you're going to see drivers kind of overshoot the corner, and they're going to have to put their foot on the brake there so they don't end up on that outside wall.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Trail braking can be utilized here a little bit at Homestead-Miami Speedway, especially when the tires start to go away. We're going to start seeing that happen fairly quickly. The fall off, I believe the last time I was around, was about a second and a half. Currently, best lap times were pretty much just set a few moments ago, with the best time being the 32.49. That was set by Austin Smith, our current race leader. No surprise there. Again, he was out last week. In this week, he lost the points lead to Alex Teft, but he's only 12 points out. And this is a good time now for us to talk about how the championship standings work here. So the format mirrors the 2011 Chase format that we're familiar with from NASCAR. The Chase field, however, is set by the top 10 drivers in points at the end of the 10th week. Those drivers are next to the Chase. There are 12 total spots. 11th and 12th are reserved for drivers that are outside the top 10 in points that have wins. If no drivers outside the top 10 in points have wins, then 11th and 12th in the points advance. So I want to mention that as I put those results back on screen here for you. Drivers 11th and 12th right now: Gordon Spain, Brad Hayes, 198, 197. I'll recheck my notes, but I'm pretty confident that the only driver that had a win outside the top 10 is ineligible because they did not meet the requirement 4 races that you should participate in order to run. So each driver has the opportunity to earn bonus points. A bonus point is awarded to each racer that or to the racer who has the most laps led. Everyone who leads a lap receives a bonus point. The pole winner each week is also awarded a bonus point. So it's worth mentioning that Brandon Puffenbarger got a bonus point for the pole. Also, the fastest lap, each race is awarded a single bonus point. And the winner of the race gets 46 points. The runner-up is 42. Third place gets 41. So it pays to win here. And you have to be, excuse me. So it pays to win here. After third place, you'll get 1 less point. So at third place, you get 41 points. You get 40 if you finish fourth. And then you lose a point every position as you go backwards, trying to paint the picture right here for that. When you get into the chase, the eligible racers are going to start with 2,000 points. Race winners are going to be awarded 3 points at the start of the chase for every regular season win. So if somebody with 5 wins would start the chase with 2,015 points. The chase will be 5 races long. There are no drop weeks in the chase. So that's also really good to mention. If there's a tie that occurs for chase advancement, they're going to look at the number of top 5s achieved in the active season. I don't think that's going to be a problem here. So that's a little bit of the gist right here, trying to get to the chase under the lights here at Homestead.
And John, once we leave Homestead later here on tonight and we start next week in that chase, you're going to see these drivers do stuff that we probably haven't seen them done in a regular season. You're going to see them probably become a little less friendly, not help each other out as much because they're all trying to go for the same exact championship. So we're going to see a whole totally different driver style next week.
I think you'll see a little bit of that. I don't know if it's going to change all that much. I want to mention we're going to Vegas. What a way to start the chase next week. January 25th, we are going to be at Vegas. Unfortunately, Daniel, we're going to have to work out somebody else in the booth. I'm unavailable because of my day job and what I do. I'm going to end up missing that race, but we're going to sort that out. There's going to be a good one. There's trouble right there. You got a car down low. That's the number 30 machine, Sam Kohlhaas, getting it wrong. Gathering it back up. It's going to just drain positions down 11 spots now from where he started. Real loose right there. Saves the car. He's going to live to fight another day.
He's going to have to regroup, get himself collected once again here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. So far, everybody running very clean here.
Yeah, here's a battle for the 11th spot. Truth Hoax slowly starting to move forward. Right there, you can see him in that number 59, Reese's Machine, up 5 positions since the start of this one. Another big mover, Kinsley Smith, last week's race winner, finally got that elusive race win. He's up 10 spots on the night, up to 15th. This is a little bit reminiscent of last week, Daniel. I don't know if you remember. He ended up having to pick up a lot of spots. And here he is right here in the top 15 now. I'm sure it won't be too long before he starts getting to the front. I also want to mention last week, Brandon Puffenbarger, who had the pole tonight, took control of the race early. Had control of the race for about the first half. But at the halfway point, Kinsley Smith pretty much took command, never looked back. And Brandon Puffenbarger was second, with Andrew Tuff being third. And that was how Richmond ended last Thursday.
And at Richmond, you saw, like you mentioned, John, the 15 and the 5. The 5 dominating the first half, but the 15, once he got out front, he was there pretty much from halfway on to the finish there and collected that win at Richmond. It helped him a lot. He's now in the playoffs, so that's really good for the 15 of Kinsley Smith. But look at right in front of him. Look at all these drivers up here in the top line. You see the 59 Truth Hope, the 4 of Dennis Kane. They're all using that same outside line, John.
Well, that's because there's really only, like I mentioned, 2 grooves. There's low or there's high. That middle lane doesn't really work great for you. It's just not very comfortable to run around right there in the middle from what I remember at racing this track. And again, there's not that much banking here. It's pretty flat on the straightaway. It does come into some banking, but it's not super high banks like you're used to at other speedways, and that plays a role in how you turn at this racetrack. And that, I believe, in my opinion, is why you only get those 2 lanes. You don't see a lot of middle groove racing happening. And something I want to mention is look at this 3-wide racing right there with Truth Hope that battle for 10th place or 11th place. You got the 24, the 20, almost touched. Truth Hope is touched in the wall. He's gonna
hit the inside wall.
Not able to keep it off the inside wall. Let's kind of try to go back and see how this just occurred. Caution 1 is out at the battle for 11th. Following Truth Hope right here as he looks to the inside of the 24 machine. That's Jeremy Carter. Or excuse me, Diego Rodriguez, excuse me. And the Corey Corral on the inside. So he's going to bounce off the 20, it looked like. Trying to see this from one more angle here. Right here in the middle, in between both. Get real close. The 20 kind of comes up. Truth Hope nowhere to go. And kind of clips the 24 and ends up hitting the inner barrier right there. I don't think it was super hard contact. Left nose a little crinkled up. It's definitely going to affect the drivability of that machine, but I don't think it's going to be a race ender as all of the whole field's coming down pit road for service.
See right there, the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. Multiple drivers come down pit road right now to get service here under our first caution of the night here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. The final race here in the regular season before the chase is set. You see right there, the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger now parked in his box, going to get serviced here. Right behind him, you see the 23 of Smith. There's the 3 of Gordon Spain now exiting pit road.
Gordon Spain with the strategy move here, only taking fuel, it looks like, with a pit stop of 7.63 seconds. Austin Smith, first car on tires, followed by Brandon Puffenbarger. They're pretty much going to come out the way they went in for everybody that took tires here. A little bit of mixed strategy. Andrew Teft, want to mention, he stayed out. So Andrew Teft is going to be on old tires, did not get fuel, increased his position quite a bit in that number 6 machine. Gordon Spain, no fuel tires, no tires, fuel only. Row 2 for the restart's going to be Austin Smith and Puffenbarger. They both took tires. Joan Bachler took right side tires only to move him up to 5th. So a little bit of a mixed strategy in the field right here. Something that we're going to see play shape out really quick. I don't think it's going to take too long to see how this is going to work out. I also want to mention we have 4 tire sets for this race. They get 1 fast repair. It's 75% fuel. So they have 5 total sets. So it really depends how you want to split this race up. And some drivers were ready to take their tires on lap 20. Others want to save tires for later in this race. And I think I would be on the side wanting to save my tires later. I'd probably pull the move Andrew Teft did. Get up front. See if I can hang on to this thing as long as possible. Can I make it to the next caution and use these older tires to my advantage to have more tires later in the race? It's not uncommon for somebody on fresh tires at Homestead to make up a lot of ground in only a few laps.
Well, we're going to see on this restart here, old tires versus new tires. And like you mentioned, John, those new tires, you're probably going to see them up here in the front in no time. Here, you see the field doubled up, getting ready to go on this restart.
I got through 20 laps pretty quickly here at Homestead. We're going to get through another 20 pretty quickly. Waiting for this pace car Camry here to turn down pit road. We'll take a moment to thank iRacing for everything they do here, as Andrew Teft's going to be the control car, looking to not spin the tires here. Kind of waits on the throttle. Here we go, headed down the front stretch. Feels slow, but we're already doing 150 miles per hour. Andrew Teft leads the field in turn number 1 with Gordon Spain on trying to make a move to the high side. Austin Smith not taking any time at all to take advantage of those fresh tires, looking for the lead.
Side by side, heading down the backstretch, looking mid-pack here. You see right there, 57, Jason Bottoms. 3 wide with the 29, Aaron Kohlhaas and Brandon Honeycutt on that top line. Right there as they come off in turn number 4.
Corey Crowell trying to take advantage of that gaggle on the inside and to move up his position here. He's up 14 on the night, just involved in that last caution that also had to do with Truth Hoke. Just trying to take that Midwest Motorsports car and get as many points as possible. A win would be helpful for him, as I believe he started this race with 248 points. So he's solidly within the championship chase right here. At this point, just looking for bonus points.
The outside line is your best friend right now. You see all these drivers using the outside groove, and let me tell you, you get really good corner exit here from Homestead when you're using that top groove. And look at these drivers, all different lines here being used. See drivers on the inside, drivers on the outside, even 3 wide here.
Got a couple cars right out of whack down there, way down to the inside. I couldn't quite catch who that was. I think it was the 39 machine right there. Trying to get a center on that driver. The 89 Robert Nosfinger Jr. We saw that machine down below the white line, kind of out of whack. Gets the car straightened back up. It's back on track. Really no harm, no foul. Perhaps a couple positions lost. Running around the back right now, Diego Rodriguez. He might have suffered some more damage than we really thought after that last incident, that 24 machine. He's quite a bit off the lead now, 10 seconds. He's running 32.78. The leaders are running about 0.3 of a second faster. I think he might have had an incident that got him this far back again. This doesn't seem to fit based off of when we started 5 laps ago.
And the 24 Diego Rodriguez, he's been having good races. He's been putting good races together. He's been there at the end multiple times. Just hasn't gotten that win yet, John. But I'm sure he's going to get a win here in no time, because he's a very talented driver. And he shows up every week and he just keeps grinding and grinding at it. And he's getting better and better.
Well, you just have to go back to earlier in his season where we saw him always kind of get hung up in things, and that started to kind of go away as the season went forward. And you've got to be out of trouble to make things happen. He's back in 27th. We'll see if he can recover for this one. Remember, he's on that bubble line right here if you want to double check the points here. So Diego Rodriguez is at 193 points in 14th. He needs to get ahead of Jeremy Carter, Brad Hayes, and Gordon Spain, and really in front of Brandon Honeycutt. So he needs to get into the top 5 at some point to really have a shot here at this one. And let's not forget about Truth Hoke. He's got an opportunity if he can get up into the top 5 also, even though he's all the way back in 18th and 20 points out. If the right things fall the right way, he can also sneak into these playoffs.
See right there, the 9 of John Schrombachler there, running that inside line. He's going to have to fill that gap really quick. If he's going to go to the outside, not going to happen. As you see, the 43 closes the door right there. And the 9 is going to follow that 26 machine on that inside line, exiting turn number 2.
This seems to be probably the most entertaining portion of the track. Drivers side by side. 43 looks down to comes in front of the number 9 right there. That's Alex Teft, sort of taking the line away from the number 9. Looks like he's got like a Buccaneer on the front of that car for John Schlombachler. That sure is. He's driving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers paint scheme. Well, congratulations to them getting past the Eagles last week. He's following the Titans, who are not in the playoffs. That's the number 93 of Zach Lockett. They fired their coach recently. But they're going to be in good shape, I think, moving forward. As Alex Teft made quick work of those guys, he's knocking on the door. The number 27 for Brad Hayes, looking for 11th.
Right there's the 20 of Corey Carell right now, running P7 as he enters turn number 1 and 2, running that high groove, getting very close to the outside wall, but he's doing an excellent job. Right there on the inside of him is the 29 of Aaron Kohlhaas.
Kohlhaas was trying to take that 7th place position away. Didn't quite work the last time. Looking to the inside one more time. Just doesn't quite have the run to get by the 20. And you're just going to see that the 20 car should pull away if he had a good run off the corner. Couldn't quite tell And now you can see sort of just a touch stretched it into the corner. And from my opinion, I just think for longevity of tires, that higher side is going to work better. It allows you to defend better. But if you're trying to make an aggressive pass, the low line works. You got trouble back there. Oh, wow.
Back there.
That was absolutely incredible. That number 13 machine, Brandon Honeycutt, was completely sideways and just managed to hang on to it. That's just incredible driver, let's see the word I'm looking for, driver awareness. That was a wreck. It just didn't happen.
Brandon Honeycutt doing an excellent job saving his car here. Coming off of turn number 2, is going to regroup it here. Going to try to get as many positions as possible. But, I mean, he probably lost some tire wear on that.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't going to be great for his tires. He's just going to have to get them cooled up, and they should be all right. Going back to check, let's go look on his car. He put the tires on lap 18, so they're still fairly fresh. Got about 18 laps on them right now, plus a little bit of that possible wear that occurred from that slide. I think he's going to be okay. He just doesn't want to get them too hot for the rest of this run.
He should be fine. As you see the field making their way around this track here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida. Right there's the 4 of Dennis Kane, currently P17. Right to his inside there is the Wind Creek machine. That is the 25.
25 of Paul Shaw driving a Toyota. Only one of, it looks like, one of 5 Toyotas in the field tonight, so Toyota's not very well represented by a driver. However, Corey Corral is the highest current Toyota, running P8. Not many Fords either. Highest running Ford is Marshall Harrison, the number 32 machine. He's currently in 3rd, so representing well. What an outstanding paint scheme that is right there. That thing just looks really, really mean, I should say. Just like a Mustang should. It looks like a mean race car under the lights, shining. Looks great. At lap 35 here, 134. I want to thank everybody for being here and being a part of our evening with Racers Elite, SRM, Daniel Paulus, myself, Jonathan Leach. Just really glad to have you guys here watching week in, week out, supporting these drivers. They work hard to be good at this and to put on a good show. And the Racers Elite administrative team does a really good job running a tight ship. These guys know what to expect every week. We have the information that we need to call the best show possible. There's good drivers, good crews. This whole organization here, just outstanding. Puts on a great race, and we're just excited to go into this chase coming up. And next week it's just going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun. You know, we're going from southern Florida all the way out to Las Vegas, Nevada here next week, going to the West Coast. So it's going to be a little hot over there, but I'm sure we'll all get through it. As you see right there, the 20 of Corey Carell, currently P7, holding that run very well here. Right behind him is the 29 of Iron Kohlhaas.
You know, Kohlhaas still trying to get that position away from him, but might have worn those tires out a little bit. As you see Jason Bottoms in the number 57 trying to look to the high side. It looked like he had a little bit of a slide right there, hardly noticeable, but I saw the way he turned his tires. They're just turned quite a bit to the right, so I think he might have had a little bit of a moment there than just trying to kind of keep up with it. And Jason Bottoms did put tires on a little while ago. And lap time starting to fall off about 0.5 of a second. So about a half second across the field now in 18 laps. So a little bit of fall off. Nothing too exciting. So while we're right here in a bit of a lull, drivers getting spread out. 2 seconds for Austin Smith. Puffenbarger has about 2 seconds on 3rd. Kinsley Smith has found himself all the way up to 5th in no time. We're going to take a moment, step away. We'll be right back. You're not going to miss the race. You're just not going to have to deal with Daniel or myself for about 3 minutes. We'll be back.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the season finale here live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. My name is Daniel Pauls Jr. Alongside me in the broadcasting booth is Jonathan Leach. And Jonathan, it's been a heck of a show here in the season finale before we get these playoffs kicking and rolling next week in Las Vegas.
Yeah, really having a good time here. Already 46 of 134 complete, just about to the well, we are at the third way mark now. So far, only one caution on the evening. Don't expect many cautions when you come to Homestead by the nature of the track. You do expect to see a couple drivers into the wall, and you can see some wall marks here at the racetrack. But so far, not too many incidents that have brought out the caution. Austin Smith still running up front with Puffenbarger second. Marshall Harris is third. Kinsley Smith worked his way up to fourth. Corey Crowell from Midwest Motorsports currently P5. We're approaching lap 50. And again, we have 75% fuel. I think tires are going to start being considered in the near future. These drivers put tires on 20 laps in. And we're closing in on 30 laps on those tires. So somewhere around 35 laps on the tires. Corey Crowell's in the wall. I think we're going to see these cars put tires on. Our Kohlhaas is going to be able to put Corey Crowell behind him now, as the 82 Joshua Neal's looking to do the same thing after that wall ride by the 20.
See right there, the 82 challenging that 20 there. And the 20 of Corey Corral is going to be able to hold off the 82 of Joshua Neal as of right now. But the 82 still trying to make a move here using that inside line. And he's not going to be anywhere close near that 20's quarter panel. He's going to still fall back and P7. John, one driver that is very shocking to me is the 32 of Harris, who's currently running inside the top 5 and really hasn't been going anywhere. Being very, what's the word? I'm gonna let you try to figure this out, man.
I don't know why you're so confused. Consistency, maybe?
Consistent? Yeah, I would say consistent.
I think that's the word you're looking for.
I wasn't finding the correct word, but thanks for helping me figure it out there, John. But the 32 there, Marshall Harris, having a wonderful night here tonight from Homestead. But the 93 is Zach Lockett. I was expecting him to be inside the top 10, and he's not even near the top 10 right now.
Well, that's false. He's battling for 10th right now. Perhaps he meant the top 5. We haven't seen him up there by the top 5. He's been hovering around, 12th to 13th. Just cracked the top 10, getting past Jeremy Carter. He's out of Vestal, New York here. That's Zach Lockett, driving the number 93 Tennessee Titan machine.
And Zach Lockett, just as I mentioned him, all of a sudden comes inside the top 10, but Zach Lockett now inside the top 10 here in that 93 machine's been having a very solid season here so far. John, you see the 6 of Andrew Teff making his way down pit road.
Yeah, we had to know he was going to come down at some point because he did not pit before. He's now in the 26th place position. 4 tires and fuel for the 6 machine. That's going to bring in the number 57 of Jason Bottoms as well. He's coming down pit road following him. All right, this looks like it's going to start green flag pit stops as multiple drivers coming down. Schoenbachler, Dennis Kane just came down for fuel. Schoenbachler, I think he got right side tires getting ready to exit pit road. So green flag pit stops have begun here on lap 53 of 134 of the Racers Elite Series. We're going to follow this and see how this cycles out. It could have a major impact on the rest of this evening.
We'll see if it brings down any other drivers. As you see right there, the 9 of John Schoenbachler all done with his service. So is the 4 of Dennis Kane. They are going to exit pit road. And John, for these drivers that are going to be in these playoffs, you don't want to be making any mistakes on pit road.
Nope, mistakes on pit road to kill you. And now in an iRacing, of course, the mistake that you can have really is they're self-imposed. Speeding, speeding coming in, speeding coming out, missing your pit stall. If you're just too close to the wall or too far to the right in your pit stall and you can't get service, you can lose 3, 4, 5, even 6 seconds trying to get set. And 6 seconds on the pits is a long time on the racing surface, and that can pretty much end your race. We come back down here to take a look at Jason Bottoms, Gordon Spain, Andrew Teft, and where these guys are running. They are 22nd through 25th. These are the guys who have just taken tires. Rodriguez up to 24th, kind of in between them. So these guys are just off the lead lap. I want to bring up. They're going to need this to cycle through, and they really do not want to get caught by any kind of caution or issue, as Zach Lockett's going to take his 93 down pit road now.
Only having one caution here tonight, John from Homestead. Been having a very solid long green flag run, and probably going to expect that throughout this race here, unless a caution does come out. But there's the 26 of Jeremy Carter, currently P9. Last lap he ran a 33.68, so not too bad there.
Yeah, not a bad lap with these with tires being put on lap 18 and that alien wear number 26 for Jeremy Carter. Awesome paint scheme, running P9. We'll keep an eye on him for the rest of the race. Kinsley Smith now up to third place, up 22 positions. We saw this tune last week. Kinsley Smith looking to add 3 more bonus points for him going into the chase that'll start next week at Las Vegas on Thursday, 7:35 Eastern. You're not going to want to miss it to see how the first race is going to go over in Sin City.
Get any point that is here at Homestead. It will help you tremendously in these playoffs starting next week from Las Vegas. So you're going to want to collect as many points as possible. And that looks like what Kinsley Smith is trying to do once again.
So I want to mention here, if you're in, you want to win. So take the risk. It's 3 points. Take the risk, if you're solidly in. So 6th on to 1st. Whatever you can do to win this race. The guys like 6th to 13th, you guys need to be points racing all day long, or just win the race. But you don't want to risk a bad finish trying to win the race. You need a really good finish, and if the win is possible, you want to go out and get it. I want to mention speeds. I'm seeing speeds up to about 180 miles an hour. Michael Brooks just did 180 in that number 7 machine. Here he is up on the wall. He might have been touching it right there. I'm not 100% sure, but he was awfully close when we just panned over to him.
You're going to see that if you're too high up in that outside line, once you start getting into that marble stuff where all the tire wear is gone, and those little pieces of rubber, once you get your tires in that, you will end up in that outside wall, and you are going to lose a lot of speed there, and especially if you're stuck against the wall. So you want to try to avoid that there in turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4. But usually in turn 4, John, you see some drivers bounce off that turn 4 wall, but hasn't been any issue here tonight for these drivers.
Yeah, not too many to count, and that goes back to one caution so far for the night. Long green flag run. I think that's going to be the tune. We might even get through this race without another one. I don't want to speak too soon. And they do have some options at the green-white checker if something does happen towards the end of the race, but we're not quite there yet. We're not quite to halfway just yet, but we're getting awfully close.
It's going very fast. You see right there, Sam Kohlhaas in that number 30 machine, currently just almost outside the top 10 here, currently P12, doing an excellent, solid job here tonight. Right there. Here he is, the 30 machine. There's the 6 car of Andrew Teft, currently 22nd.
Yeah, he's behind Jason Bottoms and Gordon Spain, who pitted after him. So Andrew Teft lost some ground by staying out on those old tires, and he's got fresh tires on now, but lost ground. But what he did do is he saved the set. he's going to have an extra set of tires that everybody else does not have. So that's going to give him the opportunity to pretty much pit at every incident that occurs now. So if the caution comes out, he gets to pit. If it comes out after that, he gets to pit. So he can stay on fresh tires for the rest of the race. Something that is worth remembering as this race goes on is you see the 89 of Robert Nosfinger, who brought his car down for service 16 seconds for the pit stop time, a little bit longer than usual by about 1.5 seconds. He did take 4 tires in fuel.
And John, you know, the 6 of Andrew Teft, he has done this multiple times before, just not tonight from Homestead. He's used this strategy for a few races back in the weeks later, but I'm sure he's going to use it more and more as this season continues, and it's not going to be the last that we see it. And we did see this strategy actually come into play and work out on his end sometimes, so it's not a bad strategy at all.
I like this move. I like the idea of saving tires to your best ability. I think it's I always think it's better to have an extra set available at the end of the race. Now, you drivers who are winning races, tell me why that's wrong. But I've always been of the opinion, if you can save a set without giving up a ton of track position, or you're fast enough to get it back, I want you to let me know. I mean, I'm curious to know what's the best way to do this in order to offer the best net gain on a racing surface. So I'm a little curious, but I'm always on the side of, hey, let's save some of these tires, see what's going to happen.
See right there, the 32 of Marshall A. Harris, looking like he's going to come down pit road here and get service done here on lap 66.
And I want to go to the points here. There are no drivers outside of the top 10 with a win that's eligible for the chase. So, Gordon Spain, Brad Hayes, those guys are in. At the start of this race, they are in by 4 and 5 points over Jeremy Carter and Diego Rodriguez. But we want to keep an eye on that as this race is going on. So Gordon Spain needing to have a good race. He's a lap down right now from pitting. Brad Hayes also needing to have a good race. He's on pit road right now, pitting from 14th. Those guys, they needed to stay ahead of Jeremy Carter, who's in 15th, and Diego Rodriguez, who's much further back. Now, someone to keep an eye on is John Schlombachler, who we saw running a little bit closer to the front earlier. And he's in 17th now, but he's already pitted. He is 4th in the running order, so when this cycles through, he should be around 4th or 5th, which I think is going to jump him above. When I go back to looking at the standings here, I think that might put him above Brad Hayes. He's only 10 points away from Hayes. So, you know, he needs 10 points on Brad Hayes, so he needs to finish 10 positions better than Brad Hayes, or have the fastest lap, or lead a lap. So he needs to do something to lead a lap, in my opinion. But the same thing should be said for Gordon Spain or Brad Hayes, who do not need to have bad races. We've crossed the halfway mark. Halfway to go to see who is in and who is out. Can't have a bad race.
You don't want to make any mistakes now from here on, because now we're going to be past halfway. It is go time for some of these drivers. They know whether or not who they need to pass, when they need to do it, and if they can do it, because they know at the end of this race, it's either a make it or break it to get into this chase.
You know, bubble racing is always the most fun to watch, to call, to mention, seeing what drivers are going to do, try to do, how are they going to try to make this work. Starting to cycle through, not quite done just yet. Sam Kohlhaas is out there on old tires right now. Austin Smith is 15 seconds behind him, trying to chase him down. I'm not sure how long Kohlhaas can stay out there. Maybe a few more laps. What would be great for him, though, is if something were to occur and he get a caution, pits from the lead, would put him in a really good spot. As you see that number 3 Gordon Spain here, trying to get his lap back the hard way. He's currently 9th, the first car 1 lap down.
See right there, the 3 car of Gordon Spain, currently P9, running around 160, 170 miles per hour around this racetrack right now, hitting 183 heading into turn number 3. Last lap he had a 33.156, so not a bad lap. You see him right there running that outside groove there. Again, a good corner exit.
Here comes Sam Kohlhaas from the lead, going to give up the point position on lap 72. Come down for tires. A 15-second gap over the rest of the field, so I don't think Sam Kohlhaas is going to go a lap down, but we're going to keep an eye on it as Austin Smith is unlapping, or is taking that lead away from Kohlhaas. Right now, coming out onto the backstretch. Let's see if Kohlhaas' service is done. Not quite. This is going to be awfully close. So Kohlhaas down the backstretch. Kohlhaas, Smith down the backstretch, coming into turn 3. Kohlhaas now exiting his pit stall. It's going to be very close to see. And it's going to be awfully close. Kohlhaas really trying to get everything he can. Here comes Austin Smith. These guys are going to be side by side. Whether or not he's going to get to put Kohlhaas a lap down. There he is. Right behind him. Very close, but he's going to remain on the lead lap. Good strategy for Kohlhaas, except he is now 18th. He's going to have a lot of work to do to run the cars down in front of him.
He has some work to do, but nothing too much, as you see right there. The 57 of Jason Bottoms inside the top 5 here tonight, John. Right behind him is the 29 of Aaron Kohlhaas, and he's going to be side by side here with the 57, but he's going to get easily around the 57 of Jason Bottoms.
Yeah, Jason Bottoms would need a miracle in order to make the chase, but he's out here running well. You know, he's in the top 7. If the right people have bad races, he might just find a way to sneak in. He's got 175 points, so I mean he's 22 points out. But if the right things happen, he could potentially get in, or he could steal one. So, you know, Dennis Kane, Timothy Hogue, you guys get out here, Michael Smith, steal this race and take a position away from the non-race winners. And at that point, you get your race win, you're in the chase, and you kind of crush the hopes and dreams of one of these bubble drivers. We'll have a pretty good idea at the end of the race who made it. Give or take a bonus point or 2. If they're within 1 point, maybe 2 points, we'll have to wait till the official standings are released by the Racers Elite Administrative Team. But we should know for the most part who's in post-race.
See right there, the 32 of Harris P2, been running inside top 5, top 10 all night, John. Doing an excellent job here tonight from Homestead-Miami Speedway. See right behind him is the 62, having a decent night here. There's the 20 of Corey Carell running P4. And Thomas Stanley in at 62 machine.
Well, I want to mention Thomas Stanley actually not having a decent day. He's mired back in the 24th place position. I believe he had some trouble earlier and just not quite running where he wants to run, trying to get his lap back the hard way here. Now, if he can get his lap back, it's going to be a different ball game, but he's going to need some help. See Kinsley Smith right there, tied with Corey Crowell for biggest mover, up 21 positions, currently scored in 4th. You know, again, a driver who's solidly in the chase, really just wants to win and get 3 more bonus points. Same thing again for Corey Crowell. Austin Smith, really class of the field. We always see him in the top 3 pretty much every race. 3 bonus points going to the chase would make up for him missing last week, and I think would also put him back into the make him the regular season champion.
Austin Smith has done an excellent job here this season. Has been up front for every single race pretty much. here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. As you see right there, the 4 of Dennis Kane battling side by side with the 23 of Austin Smith. Austin Smith currently leading this race here on lap 80, getting ready to go on lap 81.
Get a quick update on Alex Tept in the number 43 machine. He's in 9th right now. Kind of been hanging around the top, lower part of the top 10. Remember, he is first in points coming into this race, solidly in at no risk of falling out of the playoffs. Just a quiet night, but consistent in the top 10 and really in the top third of the field. So good run for Alex Tept tonight when compared to the competition. Not quite where we're used to seeing him run in the top 6. The night's not over yet. He usually finds a way to be competitive and up front. So we'll keep an eye on 43 as this race goes on. Here comes Robert Nosfinger Jr., the number 89 machine coming down pit road. This looks like it'll be his 3rd pit stop here on lap 82.
3rd pit stop for this machine here at 89, but he's gonna have 1 pit stop left here. John, do you want to really come down and use your 3rd stop already?
Well, we don't know if he saved a set of tires before. Remember, you get 5 tires for 5 sets for the race, but you start with and you got 4 options to change. So he would possibly still have 2 sets of tires depending on his earlier strategy, and at the very worst he's got 1 more set that he can put on around lap 110. 110, that'll be 24, maybe 27 laps to the end. A pretty solid way if you really want to split up the race on your sets.
Austin Smith coming off of turn number 4 here, going down the Homestead front stretch here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Working on lap 84 out 134 here tonight from Miami. And after this race, we are going to determine who will be running for a championship here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. So far, Austin Smith out front, trying to get as many points as possible. As you see right there, the 27 in front of him running that high line, but the 23 is probably going to get by pretty easily here, John.
Yeah, this is a battle for a lapped machine here, really. I wouldn't even call it a battle. Austin Smith has almost a 12-second lead over Corey Crowell and about 12.5 seconds over the number 32 of Marshall Harris. Class of the field, can't say I'm not surprised. He's up 1 position from the start, was outside, started outside pole. Likely has led the most laps of the race already. He's going to pick up that bonus point and a bonus point for leading a lap as well. But again, that doesn't matter. He's looking for the 3 bonus points for winning this race.
See right there, Kensley Smith in that 15 machine doing an excellent job here tonight.
Yeah, Kinsley Smith really just slowly, methodically working his way through the field here. You know, up to 4th now. Marshall Harris is about to have his hands full. It looks like a driver in the wall. I think that might have been, it wasn't Kinsley Smith. It was a lapped machine right here. Looks like the 87? Yeah, 87, or no, 56 of Noah Tansman. And yeah, actually, I just noticed something here. Let's see. Noah Tansman, he needed to be in this race to make the chase. And he is here, so he has the option to make the chase, but he's going to need a win in order to get in. Currently running quite a bit back. I think that win is out of reach for him. But he is here. He's racing. Let's see if he can get his lap back. I think he is he is the first car 1 lap down. So if he gets a timely caution, he'll get back on the lead lap and could really change the complexion of his race by the end of it.
See right there, the 62 of Thomas Stanley now making his way down pit road to get service here on lap 87.
Followed by Jason Bottoms. He's coming down pit road for what's potentially his last stop, but it's only going to be his third. I think he's going to have an extra set of tires at a minimum, waiting for that late race caution that he can jump on all the positions with the greatest amount of rubber possible. I think this is going to start green flag pit stops, which again, these could be the final stops coming up here shortly in the next 10 laps. And you see drivers mentioning, or people mentioning, Austin Smith has been unstoppable, and that's pretty correct. You know, he's very competitive at every racetrack that he goes to. He's driven to an 11.5-second lead over Corey Crowell. And the only way you're going to catch him at this point, there's not enough time to catch him under green. You need a caution, or he's going to have to make a mistake, and we just have not seen that yet.
And I don't expect him to make a mistake here, John. He's an excellent, talented driver. Doesn't really make that big mistakes that you would normally see out of some drivers. But you see right there, currently running P3 is the 32 of Harris.
You know, just really, actually the 32, you know, 15 of Kinsley Smith, Marshall Harris, trading back and forth. The 29, Ira Kohlhaas right there. These three drivers kind of back and forth here for the third place position. And you've also got Brandon Puffenbarger and Joshua Neal, Ira Kohlhaas and Puffenbarger, who's trying to sneak into that competition. And here comes the 29 of Kohlhaas looking to the inside of the 32. This is your closest battle on track, and it's for third place.
Great battling going up on here in the top three here. See the 29 of Aaron Kohlhaas there on the inside of the 32 of Harris, exiting turn number 2.
And Kohlhaas finally going to be able to take this position away, move him up to P4. While those two were battling for fourth, Kinsley Smith stepped away. So in the time that it took me to say the battle was for third, Kinsley Smith got third and drove away by half a second. And he's a little bit faster than our race leader right now. Last time around, he was 0.5 faster. And this time at the line a second ago, he was 0.3 faster. But he's got a 14.5-second gap to the leader, Joshua Neal, down pit road.
Josh O'Neill in the 82 Mountain Dew machine getting serviced here on lap 93. John, we're getting closer and closer to this finish.
Yeah, this, like I mentioned, this could very well be the final pit stops of this race. What a paint scheme that 62 is driving right now. As we get back out on track, slowly these things are going to start occurring. Now this is your good stop. You don't speed under green flag. Don't speed in. Don't speed out. Don't lock the tires up coming to pit road. And for certain, do not miss your pit stall. After 95, 100 laps of doing everything right, an hour of racing, and you're in the top 5, when you miss your pit stall, it's game over. And that just bites. So don't let a mistake ruin your race with less than 35 to go.
Less than 35 laps here left at Homestead. Getting ready to get into these finishing laps here. As you see a car there. I don't know who that was, John, but I'm pretty sure I saw a car go off in the apron there.
You try to catch who that was, but Daniel, I want you to know your math isn't mathing. I'm not sure who went off to the apron, and I think we might have, perhaps that was Joe Archer looking to get ready to come down pit road here. He comes down pit road. He's coming from the 24th position. Not too many spots left that he can really lose. He's just not having the night that he wants. Diego Rodriguez running in 24th. That's not going to be good enough to get him in. He will not get in to the playoffs running in the 23rd position. He's going to need something to go his way for him to make it. Something just has to go his way. He really needs to pick up 10 more spots and finish around the 8th to 10th place to get to the end. I don't think he's got enough fuel to make it, but I might even try it. I might try to get 5th by stretching it to the end if you have enough fuel. But I don't think he can quite do about 70 laps. And that's what it looks like he would need in order to get to the end of this race.
That's going to be very unfortunate for him.
Here comes Zach Lockett coming off pit road. Take a moment again to look at those point standings. So Zach Lockett, 210 points. He's fairly strong and shouldn't have much trouble making it. Currently ends Gordon Spain and Brad Hayes. Gordon Spain running, actually pitting now. He was running much more up front. Jeremy Carter, he's running 8th. Jeremy Carter, Gordon Spain doing what they have to do to get in. Brad Hayes doing what he has to do to hang on to that 12th place position. Gordon Spain has been running really in the top 5. I think his position's safe. Brandon Honeycutt and Ira Kohlhaas also having good nights. So it's going to really come down to the wire for if Jeremy Carter's going to be able to sneak in. It's going to be a battle between him and Brad Hayes. And Brad Hayes, one position behind him right now. And these guys are separated by 4 spots. So Carter needs to finish ahead of Brad Hayes by 4 positions to make up the gap. And if you're Brad Hayes, you just need to finish in front of Jeremy Carter. In fact, you just need to finish within 3 positions of Jeremy Carter, even if you're behind him, to make the chase. But the easiest way to do that, just keep him behind you.
Sounds simple, but it could be difficult here at Homestead. But you see right there, the 15 of Kenzie Smith still inside the top 5, running P3 right now with a last lap average of 33.678 out of that 15 machine.
Ira Kohlhaas coming down pit road, 9th place now. You know, and another thing, one of these drivers that is to the good could very quickly get into trouble if they have something bad happen on pit road. Looks like Gordon Spain got off clean. Ira Kohlhaas made that pit stall pretty easily. Here comes Kinsley Smith down pit road. This is it. If this is going to stay green, these are the final pit stops. Don't lose your race now. There's 32 laps to go, 31 laps to go now. Don't lose your race now. However, I gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a caution to make this a little bit more interesting, because right now, first and second are spoken for. The battle's going to be for third, as Puffenbarger's coming down this time.
Other drivers making their way down pit road right now. You see there's the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. And that 13 machine currently running P14.
Yeah, just got to wait for green flag pit stop to cycle through, as the field has gotten pretty spread out. This is to be expected. You know, long green flag run. Last caution was around lap 17. These drivers got it together, and it's been green ever since. Very few issues as far as contact with other drivers, contact with the wall. It's been a very clean race. Puffenbarger coming off pit road. Seems like everybody had reasonable pit lane times. So it doesn't look like there were any issues, as here comes Sam Kohlhaas.
Sam Kohlhaas making his way down pit road right now on lap 103. And we only have 134 laps in this race, John. And with just 30 laps remaining here tonight, do we see Austin Smith come down pit road?
Yeah, Austin Smith is going to have to pit. He last was on pit road on lap 66. I don't think that's enough fuel based on what everybody else is doing. Now, again, this goes back to Diego Rodriguez. If you can maybe make it, you try it. He needs to stay out until he runs out of fuel. Because where he's at right now, he's not making the chase because he's on that bubble. But if he stays out, caution comes out, he's on the lead lap, he might steal a spot. Austin Smith is still out on track. Here comes Marshall Harris. Austin Smith has a big enough gap that he doesn't need to come down pit road because he built that 13-second gap. You know, and the only driver really that was kind of in striking distance is Corey Corral. He didn't do anything fancy trying to catch Austin Smith, just 4 tires and fuel for the 20.
20th Corey Corral is going to have an excellent night here from Homestead-Miami Speedway, and a great way to get started in next week's playoffs, as you see him working his way through turns 1 and 2.
Here comes Austin Smith right now. Don't lose the race. You know, not to cut you off, but here comes the 23 from the lead. I expect 4 tires and fuel for the number 23.
Our leader, Austin Smith, finally giving up the lead here to get his last service done here from Homestead-Miami Speedway here on lap 108.
For another driver I mentioned down pit road, Brad Hayes. Hayes looks like he got on pit road well, into a stall clean. Got to keep an eye on him. Needs a good stop. Here comes Austin Smith exiting. We're following Brad Hayes because he is a bubble driver. Everything looks good. Sort of a long stop. There might have been a penalty. 20 seconds, 21 seconds in a stall. 23, 24. This changes everything. Jeremy Carter is out on track racing. Brad Hayes is stuck in the pits with a penalty.
And
that's going to change everything.
That is the worst situation you can ever have here in the regular season finale. Just before the playoffs, Brad Hayes having a penalty here on pit road, losing positions. John, this is so crucial for this 27 team, and it's not looking any better.
Now, this is a critical mistake. His penalty is now over, but look at that. He was only good by 4 points over Jeremy Carter. He is much farther than that down now on the list. He is out. He is not in the playoffs currently after that happened. Now that, however, could have opened the door slightly for Diego Rodriguez. Rodriguez having the same amount of points as Jeremy Carter, and he is up a few more positions, but Carter is still quite a bit in front of him. And it doesn't look like even by staying out will Diego Rodriguez really be able to pick up any more positions than 19th right now. Well, I take that back. There are drivers still to pit in front of him, but not. I don't think it's enough to make a difference. But Brad Hayes getting it all wrong on the last pit stop, is going to likely see him out of the chase.
Very unfortunate for the 27 of Brad Hayes. Was having a great run in this whole race, and like you mentioned, John, early on in this race, we don't want to be making pit road mistakes, and that's exactly what happened with the 27 of Brad Hayes having that critical pit stop mistake, and look what happened. It cost him a spot in the playoffs to contend for a championship.
And his misfortune is going to be for the fortune of Jeremy Carter, unless something wild happens in the next few laps. Jeremy Carter running in the 11th position, plenty of space ahead on that bubble. Right now, looks like he's going to, as long as he doesn't have any trouble, he's going to claim that final position. Here comes Diego Rodriguez down to pit lane. I think this is going to seal his fate, being on the outside looking in for the playoffs as well.
Right there is the 23 machine of Austin Smith, currently running P2 right now. Was leading this race, came down pit road, got service for the final time, and now inside top 3 again. But there is Alex Teft in the 43. The 23 is going to pass him, no problem. As you see right there, the 23 passes the 43.
And Alex Teft could have been working 2 different strategies. Maybe there's might be close to enough fuel to make it to the end, or perhaps he was hoping for a caution, you know, to make up as many positions as possible. Either way, there's still 20 laps remaining. Things can still happen. We're going to see how this works out for Alex Teft. And he's in. He's got plenty of race wins. He's looking for a way to steal this race, pick up as many bonus points as possible. With less than 20 laps remaining here tonight at Homestead, I want to thank everybody for coming out and being a part, making us a part of your race evening. It's been a really wonderful event so far. We've seen a lot of crazy things happen. As far as well, excuse me, not a lot of crazy things. We've seen one crazy thing happen. It's cost Brad Hayes big time, who's running 21st. All his team can do is hope that trouble happens for Jeremy Carter.
Time winding down very fast here from Miami here on lap 114 out of 134, John. And these laps have been clicking and clicking away very fast, and that's because we really have been having a long green flag run this whole evening. Only one caution here tonight, and I expect it to run out green here. You see the 26 of Jeremy Carter work that inside line to go past the 24 of Diego Rodriguez.
Alex Teft coming down pit road this time. Stretched the fuel as far as he possibly could, but not enough to not have to pit again. Expect him, not sure what his strategy here is going to be, whether he's going to take a bunch of tires, or it's not a bunch of tires, fuel or tires. Looks like it's going to be both fuel and tires for Alex Teft. I take that back, right side tires and fuel for the 43 machine.
Right there's the 5 car of Brandon Puffenbarger inside. In front, actually, of the 82 of Joshua O'Neill as they exit turn number 4. And they will still be battling for that 4th and 5th position. There's our leader, Austin John Smith, currently P1 and at 23. Working on lap 119, exiting turn number 2, heading down the back straightaway. As he's going to go around a lap car. Making his way into turns 3 and 4. Going to be heading on lap 120, John.
They're getting through this race in a hurry. Only 1 hour and 9 minutes of race time. Pretty single file. Oh, there's some sideways action a little bit further back there. I didn't quite see where it happened. Didn't result in any cautions. I don't see any drivers off track. But there was a bit of a moment back here. I think it might have been between these two drivers, between the 5 of Puffenbarger and Joshua Neal. It was very close to being a thing. Fortunately for both drivers, nothing went amiss, and they are both able to stay out there on track.
5 machine currently in P4, still inside top 5, no harm, no foul, as you see him come off turn number 4 going across the front straightaway here, and we are still on lap 120, now going on lap 121, John. And do you see anybody that could potentially be out of these playoffs at this point?
Well, we know Brad Hayes is out. Brad Hayes unfortunately did not make it where he's at without a caution, and something outstanding happening for him. Other bubble drivers not having the night that they want. Again, we've mentioned Diego Rodriguez a bunch of times. He's not going to make it with what's happening right now. So it looks like to me, Brad Hayes, Gordon Spain, Honeycutt, Ira Kohlhaas, those drivers are going to make it in. And then everybody above that cutoff as well. Carter is going to be the one car on the outside. Not Brad Hayes, excuse me. Jeremy Carter is going to take the place of Brad Hayes and be a car that effectively raced in to the chase today. However, it wasn't as much him racing in as Brad Hayes losing it and Jeremy Carter running clean. And they've been right around each other the whole race. So it's hard to say how it would have gone. But that's what I would tell you right there. We'll get an updated standings for you at the end of this one, but I'm pretty certain that's how it's going to unfold.
Right there's the Paul Shaw in that Wind Creek Event Center scheme. Right there's Brandon Honeycutt running P15. Again, looking like to get top 15 for him tonight here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. As you see right there, the 57 of Jason Bottoms on the top lane.
Coming to 10 laps remaining for the 23 of Austin Smith, who now has a 16-second lead over Corey Crow and 21.5 seconds over the 15 of Kinsley Smith. Just absolute domination out of the 23 machine. We're used to seeing that, but what a way to send a message about the playoffs. This driver is on it. Austin Smith has 1 win, 4 top 5s, 250 total points, has started 6 races, has 12 bonus points on the year, locked in coming into the night, needs this win, and he's competing with Alex Tept, who has 3 wins. So if he wins this race, he's going to be quite competitive for the extra bonus points going in. And I want to mention that only 4 drivers of the chase of the 12 have wins. So those other 8 drivers are all going to have a lot of ground to make up at the drop of the green flag at Vegas.
And that's why you want to have good points, John. You want to be inside that top 5 in points. And that's because so when you do go to Las Vegas, you have a little breathing room. But like you mentioned, people without wins and they're just making it on points, they're really going to have to be clicking on their heels once we get to Vegas, because, you know, they could be out instantly after that round. And you know that it's very difficult for these drivers. It's a lot of pressure, but you got to try your best.
Do what you can do, and you know, when mistakes do happen, as we're 7 laps away from the drop of the checkered flag here at Homestead under the lights, which I'm just going to talk about Homestead one more time. Homestead is such a fun racetrack. Growing up, I used to love watching the championship race be here, and back when typically you didn't have to win the race to win the championship, you get 2 burnouts. What a fun way to end a year. You know, we got to see that this past year on the NASCAR side of the world. And it's just, I think that Homestead is a blast, which is why the SRM team trip goes to Homestead. So I'm going to pitch SRM. We're going to be having almost 14 broadcasts starting at the beginning of February. 14 per week. We have others knocking on the door that we have to say no to. So if you're interested in being a part of our team, go ahead and let us know on Facebook Messenger. You can either email us or you can reach out to myself in Discord. My name is Jonathan, and I would be glad to talk to you and see if this is for you. 5 laps remaining now for Austin Smith, class of the field. Can he stretch this out to 17 seconds? Half a lap gap over the number 20 Toyota of Corey Crow.
Looking like the top 3 has the deal sealed right now here in the closing laps here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. As you see right there, Jason Bottoms in the 57 machine run P16. Currently just outside the top 15. You see right there the 9 of John Schoenbachler right around him. You see 27 Brad Hayes also around him. And Brad Hayes was having a great night, but unfortunately made a critical mistake and error, and now lost his chance at running for a championship this season.
I'm looking to try to see if any other bubble drivers are having a really bad night, but they're not. Joshua Niels in 6th, Ira Kohlhaas is in 5th. You know, there is no other driver not having a good night. Zach Lockett, he's good. He's in the chase by, 13 points, and he's running in 10th. He's not at risk of falling out, and no driver further down is having an amazing race that's just going to change the complexion of this field. So, like I was mentioning before, I'm pretty sure that we've got this sorted out as the popsicle sticks are in the air, as Tony Trapasso would say. Austin Smith only has to get around a half time, and once more, just great to what a race. You know, great to have you guys watching the show. Halfway down the backstretch for Austin Smith. Currently into turn number 3. 17-second lead. One caution tonight. One caution tonight for Racers Elite, the Nextgen series. What a way to end the regular season. The white flag, the final lap is out for Austin Smith.
Austin Smith, currently P1, leading on the final lap here, exiting turn number 2. Nothing to worry about as he has a big gap over second place of Corey Carell. Here he comes down the back straightaway, entering turns 3 and 4 for the final time, John. This is it for the regular season.
Austin Smith only 1,000 feet away from the start-finish line. Going to cross the checkered flag, pick up 3 more bonus points for Austin Smith. Corey Crowell still has a long way to go. Almost 17 seconds to get there. Looking for potential battles that are going to finish out. This looks to be the closest one here between Joshua and Neal. And that's actually incorrect. I don't see any other close racing. I take that back. Jeremy Carter, Gordon Spain. Carter's going to edge Gordon Spain just by 7 thousandths of a second. In a few moments, while these drivers are gathering themselves up, we'll be able to put the final standings out on the race for you, Daniel.
Right there, you see the 23 of Austin Smith having an excellent regular season. And finishing second, we're going to have the 20 of Corey Carell. Third place, Kensley Smith. Fourth place, Brandon Puffenbarger. And fifth place, Iron Kohlhaas. That is your top 5 here tonight from Homestead-Miami.
So as we're watching Austin Smith enjoy the victory, you're seeing the points before we came into the race. As of the race right here, you see this is the field. Alex Tept is going to be your regular season winner with 300 total points. When you come down to the cutoff line, Jeremy Carter is going to be in by 6 points over Brad Hayes. The field is set going into Vegas. Holy cow, these guys are smashing into each other after this race. What a way to end the regular season. We have a car upside down, still getting hit. That's Corey Crowell, Midwest Motorsports. I hope his virtual pocket runs deep in order to repair that machine. Just what a regular season. And these guys are making their very own fireworks at the end of this one.
What a great way to finish off this season here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Only one caution here tonight, and it's been green flag this whole run here ever since. So what a great way to close out the regular season. And now we go to Las Vegas for the playoffs to begin. I can't wait. I know it's going to be a fun event as we get our interviews going here.
Now looking to grab Kinsley Smith, driver who finished P3, preparing to pull him into the booth. Joining us in the booth now, driver the number 15, up 22 positions on the race, finishing third. Kinsley Smith, last week's race winner. What were you looking for trying to get into this week? Were you looking for the win or just to make sure you were solidly in the playoffs? And what is your thought going into Homestead next week?
Just wanted to really keep the momentum going from last week, and I think I did that. Gaining some points. I know me and Andrew were tied for fourth in the points going into this race, so really I was just looking for anything better than Andrew. Going into next week, I think we have Las Vegas next week, so it's one of those cookie cutter tracks, copy of Charlotte. So, but it races a little bit different than Charlotte. So, really, I'm just looking to finish when it comes to some of these earlier playoff races, because you wreck out of one of these really early in the playoffs and it really puts you behind.
I can believe that. Well, great job running P3. Looking forward to your graphic that you're going to get out to us after a while. Is there anyone you want to mention before we let you go? And you can wrap up the regular season and start prepping for next week.
Just my wife and my daughter, of course. They're my rock. They keep me going and give me the confidence to do this. And of course, you guys for putting on the show, and Andrew for putting on the league. Um, and then of course my team, Driving Extreme Inc. Um, we really came together and worked really well together as a team.
Well, what a way to end the regular season. Great interview. Look forward to seeing you next week. Hope you enjoy how the regular season went down, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you guys.
All right, Daniel, Corey Crowell, Midwest Motorsports driver. It's going to be joining us now, finishing as the highest running Toyota P2, still 17 seconds behind our leader. Corey, you were on your roof. I hope you're okay. Daniel, take it away.
Hey, Corey, congratulations on a top 2 here tonight from Homestead. You put on a heck of a performance here tonight. Tell us, what were your emotions heading into the season finale here from Homestead?
Regular
Yeah, I
season.
mean, I was trying to get as many points as I can. I was hoping for that win, but I mean, Austin, he's gone. So just a clean race, carry some momentum into the playoffs. So it was a solid run, though.
And how was your car handling? Was it really better on the outside line? Was it better on the inside line? Was it too tight, too loose? Was it balanced? Was it just right? Can you explain to our fans how the track was handling tonight?
Yeah, first run, I felt like way better on the outside. It was loose, but it was okay. Further on into the race, felt like the bottom was even with the top for me. But if I missed that bottom a little bit, I kind of drifted high towards the middle of exit. I was on ice skates, so I had to hit that mark. Felt like the high line was faster, but not by much, for at least for me.
All right, and now that the regular season is behind us, now we're going to Las Vegas for a playoff race. First race in the playoffs. What do you want to do right out of the gate, Corey, to get a good advantage so when it comes to the end of the first round of playoffs, you're so set for the second?
I think I just need to wreck Austin, which takes Alex out, and then I'll be set for that first race, right? No, but yeah, just be consistent. I think that's what needs to happen, and just be there at the end.
You know, and I want to add one thing here, Corey. It looks like your driver, Jeremy Carter, found a way with some help to take over the final playoff spot. What are your thoughts about getting another Midwest Motorsports car in?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm proud of Jeremy on that one. I know he was a little nervous coming into it. We kept talking to him. We were giving him feedback on during the race on where Brad was, the issues going on. I know I had the broadcast up, so I heard his issues with the pit lane. So, that helped him out. But yeah, I'm glad we really found the gears meshing together at the end of the season with our team. So I'm really looking forward to next season and to continue this to go.
All right. Well, Corey, go ahead.
Okay. Congratulations here on a great finish here in the regular season. Can't wait to see you from Las Vegas, see how these playoffs shape out.
Yep.
All right, Corey, if there's someone you want to mention, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first off, congratulations to Austin Seaver in a lights out race. You guys for broadcasting this, Racers Elite for the league, and then the teammates at Midwest Motorsports.
All right. Well, look forward to seeing you next week at Las Vegas. I'm sure we'll be talking to you at least one more time before the end of the season. Have a good night.
Hopefully. Yep.
Hit us with the soundboard on the way out. Daniel, that's a first for me. I don't think I've heard a soundboard before.
I don't think I ever heard one at that interview either, but he's done an excellent job here, Jonathan. And now we're going to bring in our third place finisher,
we're bringing
Kenzie
in
Smith.
the first
Austin
place
Smith.
finisher. We already
My
talked
bad.
to that Smith. Now with you is the race
The other one.
winner, Austin Smith. Daniel.
Hey, Austin, it's Jonathan and me in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys. How's it going?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Congratulations on winning here tonight from Homestead-Miami. You got three extra bonus points heading into the playoffs now next week to Las Vegas. I'm pretty sure you're psyched about that. But tell us, how was tonight?
Yeah, tonight was good. Had a clean windshield most of the race and could run my line, and was just able to find a rhythm and end up working out. I was a little nervous coming into this race because racing the Xfinity car last night didn't go super well. I mean, I still got top 3, but it didn't feel great. But for whatever reason, I felt a lot better in this next gen car. So good race. Glad I got the win there and a couple extra bonus points.
And with that, what was the line that most suited you tonight? Was it that top line or was it the inside line?
It was definitely the bottom line. I mean, I didn't really go to the top at all, to be honest with you. I think I ran the top maybe 2 or 3 times. And that was when I was going around traffic. So bottom line, it was just if I would keep that left side tires right on that first groove, that first seam, it seemed like it would just hook and could get it to turn really well. So definitely the bottom line was the move there.
Now that Miami and this season finale is in the past, now we're looking on to the future here. We're going to Las Vegas next week to start off this chase. What are your expectations going into the playoffs?
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bummed. I have a work trip that I have to be on in San Diego next week, so I'm gonna have to miss the first race of the chase. I'm hoping with all the bonus points that I've got and kind of the lead that I got going in here that I can hopefully muster it along. Maybe I can catch a couple wins in the chase and still be there at the end. But I'm gonna have to drive like crazy to try to get the chase or to get the championship here.
All right. Is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, I definitely need to thank my team, Midwest Motorsports. I mean, all of us finished top 15 here. Shout out to Jeremy, man. He ran a great race and he was able to punch his way into the chase. So love to see that for him. He got 4 out of the 5 cars from our team into the chase. So I love that. I want to thank you guys always for broadcasting. It's always a great show when you guys broadcast. And then, just Andrew, Racers Elite, everybody that puts everything together to put this league on. It's so much fun. And I look forward to racing every night and hopefully it keeps going for a long time.
Well, congratulations on ending on a high note here in the season finale from Homestead. We'll see you next week from Las Vegas. Hopefully, you'll win that race too. But
Daniel, you're going on autopilot.
Thanks,
Austin,
guys.
we'll see you the next week after that.
yeah.
If you have a race like tonight, I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. All right, Daniel. So we just got information from the race administration. Ira Kohlhaas, tonight's finisher in 5th, has self-eliminated from the playoffs. He's not going to be able to make all the races. He has eliminated from the playoffs, which is going to erase the mistake made by the number 27 of Brad Hayes. Brad Hayes is in. Ira Kohlhaas is out. So Brad Hayes does make the playoffs, even with the late race mistake. So Jeremy Carter, Brad Hayes managed to race their way in and are looking forward to being a part of the playoffs next week for at Las Vegas. So we're going to take a minute one more time. Let's look at the points as we're going into it. Alex Teft, 300 points. That's how he finished the regular season. Now, this is all going to reset. The drivers that are in are going to be set to 2,000 points. And what gets a little bit more interesting is they get 3 points for each win that they have. So Alex Teft is going to have 2,009 points. Austin Smith have 2,006 points. Corey Crowell, 2,006 points. Kinsley Smith, 2,003 points. So there's going to be a little bit of extra points, shall I say, helping these drivers as they go in to the chase next week. I'm going to double check the rule book to make sure I did not get that incorrect. There are no drop weeks. That is right. The race winner is going to get 3 bonus points. And and that's gonna so Austin Smith's gonna have his work cut out for him. He's only got 6 points. So he's gonna be immediately behind when he misses next week at Vegas. He's gonna have to have a couple nights like tonight in order to make up that gap and be competitive at the end. He's gonna have several nights. He's pretty much gonna have to win 2 and be top 3 for the rest of the season. He's very capable. We'll see how this race goes. Looking forward to the top 12 drivers who made it. Once again, that's Alex Teft, Corey Crow, Kinsley Smith, Andrew Teft, Brandon Puffenbarger, Joshua Neal, Austin Smith, Zach Lockett made it in, as well Brandon Honeycutt, Gordon Spain, Jeremy Carter, Brad Hayes. Those are your drivers that will be competing for a championship starting in the 5th 5-race chase next week at Las Vegas. Now, all we have to show is tonight's race results. Daniel.
Well, we're going to start off, of course, with P1. We're going to have Austin Smith, who has done an excellent job this regular season and collects the final win here in the regular season from Homestead. He finishes P number 1. P2, we're going to have Corey Carell. P3, Kensley Smith, another solid driver, having an excellent finish here tonight. Just outside your top 3, we're going to have Brandon Puffenbarger in that 5 machine finish P4. P5, we're going to have Aaron Kohlhaas. 6th place, Joshua O'Neill. 7th place, Alex Taft. 8th place, Jeremy Carter. 9th place, Gordon Spain. And 10th place, Zach Lockett.
11th is Paul Shaw, Sam Kohlhaas. 12th, Brandon Honeycutt finishes 13th. 14th is Andrew Teth. Michael Smith, 15th. John Schoenblackler, 16th. 17th is Jason Bottoms. Dennis Kane finishing 18th. 19th is Dwayne McMahon. 20th, After Trouble, Brad Hayes, who does make the playoffs. We just talked about how that happened. He finished the race 2 laps down after the penalty.
Right after the 20th position, finishing 21st, we have Thomas Stanley. 22nd, Diego Rodriguez. 23rd, Joe Archer II. 24th, Robert Nofsinger Jr. 25th, Noah Tensman. 26th, Marshall Harris. 27th, Truth Hoke. And rounding out our field tonight here, John, 28th, Michael Brooks.
Yeah, that's our field. Also want to take it last second to mention that a majority of this field was a lap down. 7th on back out of 28 drivers were at least 1 lap down. So wanted to let you know the very competitive field here. So tonight, we're going to close out the regular season at Homestead under the lights. What a race it was. Next week, we're going to Sin City on the other side of the United States for Las Vegas to kick off the 5-week chase. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss that race, as well as Austin Smith, who's going to miss that race. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be watching, looking forward to it. Can't wait to see who is going to write their name in the books first to be the champion here at the Racers Elite Nextgen Cup Series. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show. Daniel, thank you for joining me. Racers Elite, what an outstanding league that you put together. We're going to end this now the way Tony Trapasso would as you walk through life. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not play in traffic. Can't wait to see you again. Good night.